Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Solo with Glow, and today we're covering the great neighborhood of Avondale. In the early 19th century, it was considered a rural suburb mostly occupied by white upperclassmen from the English and Germany background. It remained this way until the construction of the Mill Creek Expressway in the 1940s. This brought the African American population and other minorities from the West. The addition of this new race divided this neighborhood into the North and the South. Avondale is also the starting point of Cincinnati's first two riots, one on June 12, 1967 in the response of the accusation of an innocent black man accused of raping and murdering 6 white women, and the other just a year later on April 4, 1968 in response to the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. Avondale is the 4th largest neighborhood of Cincinnati. Its population density is only 4% lower than Cincinnati. 87% of the population is African American. The male to female ratio is only 0.9 to 1. Majority of the couple cohabit. Typical household comprised of male, female, kids, and sometimes even extended family. Its largest spoken language is English. My attempt to obtain birth and death statistics from the Department of Health was unsuccessful. However, this chart suggests that for every 100,000 residents, 73 get murdered yearly. According to the chart received from the Cincinnati's website, most residents are in the sales and office occupation. Under that are those managed on management and business. 37% of the population make $10,000 or less. 51% of the source of income is from salaries, 29% from Social Security, and 16% from supplemental security. Because of the low income, most residents don't own their house, instead they rent. According to the Education and Entertainment Statistics from the Statistic Atlas website, 25% of people have no high school diploma, 57% only have a high school diploma, and 17% have a high degree or more. Avondale is so fortunate to be near hospitals like UCMC and Children's Hospital, and a great mental institute like the Cooper Spring Behavioral Health Hospital. Over the years, the city of Cincinnati has been working non-stop on improving Avondale. During my windshield surveys, I noticed clean streets decorated with flowers and new trees. I noticed houses that were being demolished and others that were being rebuilt. In one of these pictures, you will notice one of the brandly renewed streets. Here it is. You notice that the houses are freshly painted and it looks clean. And this is another house of an example. Another thing that I noticed were the increase in numbers of buses driving around. I also noticed an increased number of police cars and police activity. Avondale also has a fire station nearby, so that's very good for them. The age of the population walking along the street depends on the time. In the morning, there are usually kids along the side of the road waiting on either the school bus or the public bus to take them to school. Around 2:30 and 3:30, the same thing would happen. Kids would reappear on the side of the street on their way back home. Some of the kids, though, have to walk home and are forced to cross the busy streets. This leads to my first nursing diagnosis, which is that there is an increased risk of man versus auto car accident. There are many recreational spaces where kids can hang out, one being the parks as you noticed in the previous pictures. There are Boys and Girls Club, there's a library, and even a zoo where kids can hang out. I did not notice too many grocery stores. Many of them were in the neighboring neighborhoods. They were mainly fast food restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King. This, in my opinion, contributes to the high numbers in obesity rate in the city of Cincinnati. I noticed a couple signs on the side of the street of people running for office. There were also some on the side of buses of lawyers, and I also noticed a couple churches on the side of the road like this one, and also there was a food pantry for people to go pick up food, and there is also this church that appears to be under construction. Well, folks, this concludes our Solo with Glow session, brought to you by Gloria Chabola and inspired by our UC Community Health course. Have a good day, everybody.